Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Natalie Megan and this is Weirdo Book Club. And today I'm giving you a gift. You're in for a treat. This video is dedicated to the worst books that I read this year. The worst books of 2023. Aren't you excited? Now I know I've done a lot of rants that I've done a lot of yelling this year, so you can probably guess what some of the books are. However, there's more. There's always more, and I am thrilled to tell you about them today. I read some stinkers this year, and it's time we talked about them. Now, as of recording this, I've read 129 books, and the average rating is around 3.45, which is not bad. It's above the medium, which is quite a feat in itself, given all of the crap I read this year. So let's get started. I'm not going to make you wait. But I do want to say, I will not be spoiling these books, but I will be giving you my opinions on them. And if our opinions differ, that's the beauty of being two different people. So please behave. Also, have you seen this? It's an enamel pin that I designed. It says Weirdo Book Club member, and then it has a cute little purple book with a nerdy little bookworm on the front. If you would like one, they're available on my coffee shop. Okay, let's get started. January, I read 20 books, and I didn't read that many bad books in January. January is my birth month, so I tend to treat myself with books that I know I'll like. But there was one, The Things We Do to Our Friends by Heather Darwent. I got this as an ARC, and I'm really thankful for that, but it did nothing for me. It was supposedly dark academia, but they were hardly ever at the college. College-age girl, she meets a group of college-age friends. They're kind of bougie and snobby, and there's also something sinister about them. And by the time that was being unveiled, I had already checked out because the book went so slow. It was so slow, and I got so bored, and I did not care, and couldn't really tell you much else, actually. So I gave it 2 stars because it wasn't poorly written or anything. It just wasn't for me, and I didn't enjoy myself. So maybe you would, but I did not. February, I read 11 books. There are 2 stinkers in this bunch. You're Only Just Beginning by Morgan Harper Nichols. Now, I follow Morgan on Instagram. She's an artist and she's really good with words, and I really enjoy her work in that context. It's a collection of poetry, and it read as very immature and just not what I needed. Do I think that I would have liked it maybe when I was in high school? Possibly. I was a little emo in high school, so maybe not. She's very talented and I do like her artwork, but for a book, it just did not do it for me, so I gave it 2 stars. Promises and Pomegranates was a stinker that I made my book club read. It is by Sav R. Miller, and it is supposed to be a Hades Persephone inspired. It's not. Aside from the main character having a pomegranate tattoo on her chest and there being a pomegranate on the cover, there's nothing. It's just a shitty mafia romance. I learned a lot this year. I learned that I don't like mafia romance. Thank you, Sav R. Miller. This was stupid. There was nothing to it, and I could not have cared less. The characters were unlikable. At one point, the guy is eating an apple and the girl gets horny for it. Plus, she's freshly 18 and the guy made a promise to her dad that he would protect her, so he marries her. Hate it. If you're in the book club and you read this with me, I apologize. Not everybody hated it as much as I did, but it wasn't the best. 1 star from me. March. We march on. I'm sorry about that. I read 12 books. I didn't have a lot of terrible books this month. The only one that I felt like needed to be on this list was Commitment by Mona Simpson. I got this as an ARC, and it's something about a family and somebody's going to college and there's like secrets. I couldn't tell you. I tried so hard with this book and I just could not get into it. It's like this book was trying to kill me slowly. 1.5 stars. It wasn't badly written or anything like that, so maybe this just wasn't for me, but it could be for someone else. But I did not like it, and it was also one of those books that when I closed it, all of the knowledge of it just left me. In April, I read 11 books. The only book that I really just didn't enjoy this month was Games and Rituals by Katherine Henry. This is a collection of short stories. I either really love a collection of short stories or cannot stand it, and there is no middle ground. This was that. At first, I was really excited to see where all of them would go, and then they ended up just like falling flat. 1.52 stars. In May, I read 20 books, which is unbelievable, ridiculous. If you asked me to tell you one sliver of information about this book, I could not. There's a deer on the cover. That's all I got. It was really short, but I still felt like I wasted time, and I had no clue what was happening. I had nothing. This book gave me nothing. It felt like a fever dream, and then you wake up and you're like, I feel like something happened. Oh well. I didn't like it, I didn't understand it, and none of it stuck with me. 1 star. Oh my god. I forgot about this book. Okay, so on Stuff Your Kindle Day, I grabbed any book that had a title that had one of my friends' names in it. So I got one for me, Natalie's Nighthawk, and then I got Hannah one. Of course, I had to. And then my friend Becca, which is the book I want to talk to you about. What was it? Becca's Bargain by Vicky Albert. A Curvy Girl's Love in Pirate Cove, #2. Oh no, that means there's more than one. It was a 15-minute read. I will never get those minutes back. And I can't believe they would do that to my girl, Becca. Hi, Becca. How are you? Don't read this. I have a lot of highlights on my Goodreads if you're interested. 1 star. Meet Me at the Lake by Carley Fortune. I saw that Emily Henry read this, and since I like Emily Henry, I thought I would like this, and that was a mistake. I also grabbed it because it was pink. Let's just be honest. I don't have enough pink books in my life, and I need more for my pink shelf. Okay, this is serious. This won't be one of them. I didn't like it already because it's insta-lovey and it was just kind of dumb. So I got it courtesy of Libro FM's ALC program and I was listening to it on audiobook. And then we got to this.
Things had been better with Mom. I never appreciated her type A-ness. Type A-ness.
Type A-ness.
And up until that moment, I had just had a bunch of nitpicky problems with it. As I read, I would hope that they would get further and further from my mind. But when this came up, no. This is why it's important to listen to your ebook back. The line was type A-ness, A-N-E-S-S. But that's not what it sounded like. 2 stars. I couldn't let that go. And then last and definitely least for this month, we have Haunting Adeline. I can go into heavy detail, and I did. So if you'd like to enjoy a rant the length of a feature film, I have that for you. Terribly written, poorly edited, and had a bunch of shit in it that didn't need to be there. It was so bad and cringy, and it's just abuse smut. So check it out if that's what you're into, which is fine if you are. But I feel like you deserve better than this, and I know it's popular, and I don't like it. And that's great news for me because I've been commissioned to read and review the second one. Thank you. Thank you. In June, I read 8 books. I need to get my blood pressure back down. Oh, that's right. I reread The Wild by K Webster, which is the book that started my whole channel. I hated this book so much. I had so much to say about this book. I came here and I made this account and now we're all friends. So thanks to K Webster for that, but that's it. This is incest romance, incest smut between a 40-year-old father and his 16-year-old daughter. If I could give it 0 stars, I would. And it's book 1 in a series. I can't cry. I'm wearing makeup. In July, I read 13 books. There are 2 books that I hated this month. One being The Never King, which I have a rant for. Of course I do. And if you liked this, then you are gonna love 2024 because one of you commissioned me to read and review the rest of the series. All 4 books. Thank you. But also, that's exciting for you, a little tragic for me, but hey, it's fine. I have chosen this path for myself, and you are enabling it, and we're a team, so it's fine. The Never King is a Lost Boys, Peter Pan, Why Choose smut novel about a young girl named Winnie who is kidnapped by them on her 18th birthday, freshly 18, we love it, and swept off to Neverland in order to help them break some sort of curse that I don't care about. Anyway, it was dumb. 1 star. And next is Never Contented Things by Sarah Porter, which I hated, and I only read it because Rachel asked me to. Friends Like These. Now, I didn't do a rant for this because honestly, I wanted to get this as far away from me as possible as soon as I finished. But what I did do is send Rachel unhinged voice messages in real time as I read. So you're welcome, Rachel. Thank you for putting me through this. I might review this in the future, but it would require me to read it more than once, and I just don't think I have that in me. It's about these foster children that are about to be split up and they're in love with each other. Why does this happen to me so much? I don't want to read about this. And it's fantasy, so there's like stuff, there's fae and a world and portal, and I don't really do that a lot, so I don't have a lot to go on. But I hated this, and it sucked, so 1 star. August, I read 8 books. What did I read? Oh, God. Okay, so let's go from least to worst. Sure. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. that I hated, literally. I liked The Love Hypothesis, okay? And I'm going to run that back for you real quick so that we don't have any misunderstanding. I did not say it was good. I said I liked it. And I think I only liked it because it's Raylo. And that's a character flaw that I am currently working on in therapy, so just give me a freaking break. But I did. I liked it. Whatever. So when I got this, courtesy of Libro FM's ALC program, I was like, oh, good. Let's see if I like this one. I don't. I didn't. Real quick before I keep going, are you subscribed to me? This is a good time to do that. This was dumb. This features yet another woman in STEM, which is cool. I'm down for that. However, this woman is a dolt. She is an idiot. At one point, she's snuggled up on a couch and falls asleep with the love interest, right? And she wakes up and he is rock hard against her. We've all been there. And in her mind, as she's lying there, feeling his firmness, she rationalizes it by saying, oh, he probably just needs to pee. That happens, right? When guys have to pee so bad, their dicks get hard. A woman in STEM doesn't understand. No, that's not what happens. I failed college twice, and I know that. She was dumb the whole time, too. It was dumb, diddly dumb, and I hated it. I gave it 2 stars because it wasn't terrible. Yes, it was. It wasn't Haunting Adeline, but it wasn't great. Next, I have Pen Pal by JT Geissinger, and I think that I want to do a rant on it because there's a lot to unpack. It is, shit. But it's also really disappointing. From the synopsis, you think that you're going into a book where a woman loses her husband, and on the day of the funeral, she comes back home, and there's a letter waiting for her from a man who's in prison and claims to know who she is. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not what this book is. This is not that. And if you want me to go into detail, I can do that because this book pissed me off. I was like 75% of the way in, and I was like, who is a prisoner? Where are we? What are we doing? No. And the smut, while I appreciated that there was consent involved, no, it was stupid. I didn't like it. No. And if you want me to do a deep dive on this, I am more than capable. You let me know, okay? I'll put it on the list. 1 star. Last but least of all, The Pucking Wrong Number by C.R. Jane. 2 thumbs down, but I'm holding a microphone. If I had more thumbs, those would be down too. This is a dark hockey romance, and it is unhinged. Never in my life. Dark romance with a little bit of hockey sprinkled in, and I hate it. I hated it from the moment it started. And if you'd like to hear more about that, I have that rant here for you as well. And this is not the last hockey romance on this list, oh no, but it is the worst. 1 star. September came and went, and I read 1 book that was only Now, October, I read 3 books, and I liked all of them. And if you'd like to hear about them, go to my best of 2023 list. November, I read 13 books. Let's start with an odd one. Carving for Cara by Dana Leann and Melissa McSherry. Obviously, this is a Halloween dark romance, erotic novel, whatever. It's a shorter one, but a guy sees a girl in a coffee shop, and she's so hot, and she sees right to who I am in 2 seconds, and then he's obsessed for the rest of the book, and he stalks her and unalives for her and ours her in a cornfield. Now, my rating for this hinges on if this is satire or not. Because with lines like this, I'm thinking it is satire. So if it is satire, 3 stars. If it's not satire and they are dead 10 toes down serious, 1 star. Absolute shit. And then I also read Claiming Mrs. Claus by R.M. Virtues. Now, I've read R.M. Virtues before. I read Sing Me to Sleep, an erotic novel about a girl and her sleep paralysis demon. But I really liked that one, typos and all. But this one, I didn't really love this one. I was trying to get into the festive mindset, and it did not do anything for me. So the premise is that Santa and Mrs. Claus are in a platonic relationship, and they have been for years, and they're both very happy with that. But Mr. Claus knows that she's lonely, and he kind of knows that the 2 new elves have had their eye on her for a while. And not only do they have their eye on her, they're in a relationship together. So that's fun, except it wasn't. I didn't like it. There were way too many typos. 2 stars. I didn't like it. Now we've come to December. I've read 8 books in December so far. The only book that deserves to be on this list is our last hockey romance of the year, courtesy of Libro FM's ALC program. That one night. by Emily Rath. This was a prequel novella to the Pucking Around series that everybody has been feral for over a year at least. I hated this. It was short, so it's like low stakes, but the girl and the guy meet one night and within 5 minutes decide to go sleep together, which is fine. I'm not hating on that, and we've all been there. But the smut and the dialogue was cheesy and corny. At one point, I heard,
"Well, fuck me sideways. Her body is a fucking 10.
Okay. And at one point, they're like 30 minutes into their romp, and she stops and like puts her hand on his heart, and she's like, "Do you feel that? We're beating together." Beat me to death. I'm too much of an asshole to ever just be swept away in this dumb shit, so I gave it 1 star. All right, we've reached the end, but before you leave, I'm going to rank them 1 to 5. 1 being the absolute worst read of the year, and 5 being almost as bad as that. Coming in at number 5, we have Promises and Pomegranates. It was shitty, and I feel really bad about making my whole book club read it. Number 4 goes to Never Contented Things. Because it was shitty. It was. And I think that it bothered me more than I thought it did. I didn't like it, nor did I understand it. And then by the end of it, I was just mad that I had to read it. Shout out to my buddy Rachel. Coming in at number 3 is The Hockey Romance that I read this year. Both of them. And while was really bad, I think I do have to give this spot to its rightful owner, C.R. Jane, of The Pucking Wrong Number. Complete and total trash. Coming in at number 2, only because I reread it this year, The Wild by K Webster. It's the worst always. It really is. But it did not make the number 1 spot this year, because what I read this year and what absolutely unequivocally belongs in the number 1 spot for the worst book that I've read all year, Misery Has a Name. Say it with me. Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. Now, I know that a lot of people love this book, and that's great. I mean it. I do. I love that for you. I am not one of them. This book is an unstoppable force, but I am an immovable object. I cannot be moved. I think a version of my hell, like if we have layers, I think one of my layers is a library where only this book exists. Well, that's it. How do you feel? I feel much better, lighter. I feel like running. I feel like I can hear birds again. I am leaving all of this in 2023, and I am very hopeful for 2024. I know I'm still going to have to read some stinkers because you angel babies have commissioned me to do such. But I am also going to be better at intentionally finding good things to sprinkle in between the books that make me feel like taking a cheese grater to my face. That's a resolution for the new year, I guess. And I hope that if you haven't been having such a good time, that 2024 is the year that it turns around for you. I hope that you're okay. I hope that you're safe. And I hope that you have a really great holiday season with your loved ones. I will see you in 2024.